Hey there everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Score Match Titan people. So today we're actually going to have a look at what player type is best for your captain. Now this is quite a difficult question to answer because it depends largely on what type of football you want to play and what player types your formation usually uses. But in explaining this kind of thing, explaining why some player types are better than others in terms of your captain choice, this will hopefully help you if you are a new player and you're struggling to kind of find out which player type is the best. This will hopefully help you save the hundreds if not thousands of gems that you will essentially have to pay over the course of your score match gameplay career, what have you. But yeah, this will be an interesting one because there's also a factor that it is kind of interesting to know for those of you who don't, which is the fact that your captain gets more cards than the rest of your players. I'm not sure if you've noticed that or not, but this will heavily kind of influence your captain choice, since you know that you can use your captain to fill in the kind of slots in your formation. For example, if you like playing with hammers, for example, you have another opportunity through your captain to kind of fill that spot. Now we have 4 tiers here, not 5 as my usual tier lists have. We'll start from the bottom here. We have the Hell No, which is a definitely bad choice for your captain. Then we have the Not Really, but it's not like this player type won't be someone that is a really big disaster in terms of your captain choice. In some cases is a player type that is, essentially kind of every now and then it might be a good option, but up top is the actual good option, which is the safest bet you can make, so that you can save hundreds if not thousands of gems over the time of your playing score match. Now let's start off, guys, with the Architect. Now I don't even need to say anything about the Architect really, but since this video is mostly aimed at new players, I will say that the Architect is one of the worst players in the game. What else to say? Like, he's very weak. He doesn't have there are so many better options than Architects, guys. Like I can name like 5 off the top of my hand here. We have Zivkovic, we have the Wizard, we have Faustinho, we have Johnson, we have Jones, and there are many more who are essentially just better than the Architect. I think one Architect is enough. So if you really want to try an Architect, you can use Budak or whoever other Architect variations there are. Now, from the bottom we go to the top. Hammers, seeing as we only have one hammer in the game, and that hammers are very, very important the more you progress through the arenas, especially in Arena 10, going up to Infinity Arena. The hammer is someone that you will at some point need, and more than one, unfortunately. Hammers are overpowered. They have great shots, great behavior, very tall as well. So yeah, all around very good players, and I think they are one of the best players in the game. So we've gone from one of the worst here to one of the best. So yeah, if you can afford to change your captain to a hammer, you'll thank me later. That's essentially the case, guys, because hammers are really, really broken, and they will feature in your formation regardless of whatever formation you play. Now we have the Commander. So the Commanders are also a pretty good option, but I think I'm on the fence with this one. Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys, because one Commander in most cases is usually enough, but I'll place him as a good option, the Commander, because we only have one Commander also. It's either Horvat or, like, I'm blanking on the other variations now of commanders, but yeah, we only have one Commander. commanders don't usually, like, you only need one for one commander in your formation. In most cases, it's very, very rare that you use multiple, because there are other kind of different player types that, you know, are more interesting and more kind of different and help your team out more. So in having too many commanders, you risk kind of making your formation a bit too stagnant, a bit too one-touch, kind of, which is something that you might be into, but I don't know. I think commanders are a pretty good option overall, so I leave them there. Now, Prowlers. Prowlers, in some cases, are pretty good. Now, again, I could place them as a good option, but usually, like most players in general, don't use more than one Prowler in their formation. I won't say that they're not a good option. I think they're precisely on defense, but if you really want to kind of make your formation as optimal as possible, I think the I think one Prowler is enough. If you have too many Prowlers, that means that you're missing out on players like Bertini, the Invader, or, you know, so many Simon. There are so many players that, Johnson as well. They're variations of kind of, they're different players, but still very kind of important. So, you know, having too many Prowlers, although it is a thing, guys, many people, including myself, love Prowlers. And, you know, I mean, if my captain wasn't, like, if I had Badir the Prowler at level 11 right now, I think I would change my captain away from the Prowler to a Hammer, because, you know, I only play with one Prowler at present, because I have other, you know, player types that feature in my formation. So I would change him to a Hammer, because I use 2 hammers, and unfortunately I'm using friend captains at this moment. So, you know, that's something to think about. Speedster. Now, guys, yeah, the Speedster is not really a good choice. It might seem like a good choice in the very early arenas, but Speedsters are very, very ignorant. You will unlock a bunch of other better, like, variants, not variants, like better options than the Speedster, like, you know, guys, Intruders, Invader, who else, man, Abu Bakr, Sabre, they're all better off, like, they're better than the Speedster. We have one Speedster, which is also a bit too much, honestly. I think like 0 Speedsters would be the ideal number of Speedsters in your squad. But yeah, I don't think that a Speedster is a good idea. I used to have a Speedster as a captain, and I used to play him in the Infinity Arena as well. Fun little fact, but that was only because my, like, Goosens, the Speedster, was like at level 7 or 8. So I just thought that, seeing as, again, my captain gets more cards than the rest of my players, I thought, why not try it? Now, the Infiltrator. If there was a tier below the Hell No, I think I would place him there, because we already have 2 Infiltrators, which is way, way, way too much, guys. Infiltrators are very limited. They're only semi-useful in the beginning of the game, in the early arenas. But, guys, the fact that we have 2 is actually insane, because they eat up a bunch of our cards. Yeah, not a good option overall. Really, I really doubt that there are players using, you know, 3 Infiltrators in a team where you'd need the usual 2 Infiltrators plus your captain. Practically crazy, guys. But we move on. Now, the Menace. The Menace I would place as a not really. Why? Because the Menace is a very unique player, and in most cases he occupies a very particular slot in your team. Now, the Menace is only used as a center forward, like the striker in a 4-3-3, in a 4-1-4-1, that striker in the area who is always there, practically ready to kind of get goals, basically, because that's all he wants to do, just dive into position and get goals. Now, the probability that you'd need 2 Menaces is very, very low, guys. And I've never seen a good formation that makes use of 2 Menaces. Like, seeing as you already have 1 Menace, which is more than enough again, but if your captain, you know, is of a higher level than your Menace, you might actually, like, it might not be a bad shout. like changing your captain to a Menace. But in most cases, this isn't really needed, guys. We have 1 Menace, which is more than enough. Now, a Protector. The Protector is actually a good option. Smart players all around. We only have 1 Protector in the game, and really, like, the Protectors are used quite a lot, guys. You can have multiple Protectors in your team. Maximum 2 Protectors, I think, is the kind of quota that you'd have with Protectors. So yeah, very smart players, good reaction. Their strength is a bit, and shot power is very limited, but you know, overall they're good. Many people use them on the wings of a 5-3-2, very left or right back rather, I should say. But yeah, pretty good option to change your captain to the Protector. Now, I have an interesting one, Intruder. So I think the Intruder is like on the bridge, like on the fence of A, in some cases, and the good option tier. So I think I'll place him like in some cases, the in some cases tier, because we have a bunch of other options instead of the Intruder. It depends where you play him, because at the back we have, again, a bunch of other options. We have eventually, guys, right? We have Simon, we have Keen, we have Patricio, we have Explorers. You know, so many options that you can play in defense. Now, in attack, if you want an Intruder, an extra Intruder in attack, because again, we only have 1 Intruder and we'll only ever have 1 Intruder in our squad, unless, you know, you get your captain to 1. Now, in attack, Intruders are a bit more, like the topic does kind of shift there, because Intruders in attack, we don't have really too many options apart from Intruders. Like recently now we do with Cook, with Lee, with these brand new players. But yeah, an Intruder, like in attack, I'd say that the like Bertini is an option, Abubakar is an option, but it's fair that if you want to play double attack of an Intruder and Bertini, for example, if you don't like Abubakar and Sabre, that's fair. So in some cases, yeah, the Intruder is a good option. Now the guard. Now this will actually be a bit debatable, but I'm going to go with not really. And it's not that I think that the guards are bad players or anything like that. It's the fact that, first off, we have 2 guards already in our team. Now, like choosing a player type to feature in your squad, like that should be something that you might not have enough player types of. For example, a commander, a hammer, a protector, a prowler. We only have 1 of these, so, you know, changing your captain to a guard when we already have 2 guards is not really wise. It's not a wise way of, you know, interpreting the game, in my opinion, as everything is, guys. This is all my opinion, okay? But yeah, unless, you know, your second guard, unless, for example, like in my case, I have 1 guard who's level 10 and the other is just like level 8 or something, because I didn't want to spend the extra bucks to upgrade him to level 10 when I could upgrade my captain, you know, who can fit whatever role I need him to. So, like, maybe if you want to leave a guard at a very low level and focus on 1 guard and your captain, to have 2 guards in your team, that's fine. But again, how many guards are you gonna play in your team? Really? Like, if you want a formation that is dynamic, that kind of is very interesting to play, in my opinion at least, I think the quota of guards in your team is 2 at most, and we already have 2 in the game, guys. Now, Explorer, again, not really. Now, something similar applies here in the fact that we already have 2 Explorers in our squad, and Explorers can only be played in defense, not in attack. So, and the thing is that in defense we'll eventually unlock a bunch of other better options. Again, Patricio, Simon, Keen, Intruders, Bertini. These are all very good options to play in defense. So 1 Explorer is enough. We have 2 in the game, and changing your captain to have 3 Explorers in your squad is... it's not really a wise use of your funds, in my opinion. Now, the engine. Now, the engine is going to be in the not really category. Not a hell no, you know, because at first for most of your, like from the beginning of the Arena 1 to, you know, Arena 9, I can see an engine being a bit useful. There's only one engine in your squad, so if you like having that kind of double engine thing in your team, that's fine, but we'll practically get a bunch of other better options once the game progresses, guys. So I can name like Johnson, who's a better option. Protectors in general are safer on the ball, even though, like guys, I love the engine, and the engine used to feature in my formation until pretty recently. I used to use him in the Infinity Arena, but as a captain choice, I don't think that he is a good option. One engine is enough, like I have Zukic in my case, so whenever I needed him, it's worth kind of upgrading him and leaving him there. Wherever you want, just use him. Now, Producer, guys. Producer will go into the hell no category. This is the last player here. Now, the Producer, same thing for a bunch of other players, guys. We have 2 of them already, which is way too much in my opinion. So having a third one as your captain doesn't make sense. Plus, we get a bunch of other better players that are improved versions of the Producer. Again, guys, I can name dozens of players: Zivkovic, Jones, Johnson. Protectors even are better. We have Sinclair, who is like slightly better than a Producer, and those are 5 already. And I can, like, if I think hard, I can name more. You know, there's Lee, who's also better. There is Simon, who serves a similar function. But yeah, I think having a Producer, unless, you know, you've left your like the other producers at a very low level and just focused on having one that is your captain, I could understand that. But most people, like in the Infinity Arena, aren't producers, and for a very good reason, guys. Now, that is all, guys. Let me know what you think. So we have practically 3 good options now, and the rest are practically, you know, not ideal. And in the Infinity Arena, guys, what you see mostly is hammers as a captain and commanders mostly. You do see the Intruder every now and then, but most captain types in the Infinity Arena, which is, you know, if you're kind of in Arena 6, for example, and you're eyeing, you know, the Infinity Arena eventually, just know for someone who plays in that arena that these top 3 here are what you'll find most. The rest aren't really useful, and there is one reason or another for that. And if you want to save gems and just not try and change your captain to these player types, that would be a wise option. But guys, number 1, this is entirely my opinion. Number 2, like, changing things up and trying different playing styles and player styles is really what this game is about, as I always say on this channel. So guys, be my guest if you want to try any of these out. I will let you go off by saying thank you very much for your attention. Feel free to react to this video, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, people.